Lake George Battlefield Moments, a production of the Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, preserving our area's incredible history. A weekly feature on 93.5 FM and live streaming at lakefm.com. Here's the president of the Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, John Denuzzo.
Hi, everyone. This is John Denuzzo, Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance. My guest is Liz Belyea at the Adirondack Experience. We had Liz on a couple of weeks ago talking about Taps and Trivia, which was another great success. We're very thankful for the partnership with them, with the Garrison, with the Winter Carnival folks. Liz, we want to talk more today about the Adirondack Experience. We know that it's off season for a lot of museums and educational places at this time of year, and yet you've been busy. And I know you're busy planning for the season to come that comes starting Memorial Day weekend. What things is the Adirondack Experience going to be presenting this year that maybe people haven't seen in the past?
Yeah, so we are counting down the days until May 23rd, our opening day. We will be open 7 days a week until October 13th. A couple things we're really excited about that are happening on campus this season is we have a new exhibit opening. We have a new temporary exhibit space that will be brand new this year, and our inaugural exhibit is Natural Beauty, the Art of Rustic Furniture. So we're thrilled to have people come in and check out that new exhibit. And also our exhibit, Artists and Inspiration in the Wild, is getting an update. We are switching out around 70 pieces of artwork. So if you visited that exhibit before, you can come back and it will almost be like visiting a completely new exhibit.
Excellent. How do you go about identifying and having people contribute of those kinds of talents? I know there's a lot of very talented people in the Adirondacks, but it's such a large area to cover. How do you actually connect with the artisans, the creative folks who can provide you those exhibits?
Yeah. So, I have to give credit where credit is due. Our curatorial staff are incredible and they have such rich and deep connections throughout the region. On my end of the programming side of things, we host several events throughout our season, such as the Adirondack Art Festival and the Rustic Fair, where we're able to bring in talented artists from across the region to showcase their work. And so that's such a great way to foster those connections as well.
Do you have much to do with the colleges that are in the region? Paul Smith's and maybe as far as the University of Plattsburgh, certainly SUNY Adirondack, and more in the central part of the state, or is that just kind of like one-off and how as you make those connections as you can?
We definitely have a connection with some of the local colleges. Paul Smith's in particular, we have a lot of their students that come and work at the museum for the season. SUNY Adirondack is another college that we have a great connection with. So yeah, we're definitely involved in them. And I would say if you are a college student and you're interested in history or art or the great outdoors, check out the Adirondack Experience. There might be a really great summer job waiting for you.
I wasn't at the Adirondack Experience this past year, but certainly 2 years ago, 3 years ago, pretty much every year, particularly when out-of-town family comes. And it's a great place to show them in terms of a synopsis of life in the Adirondacks now and in the past. I guess my question is, how does that all come together? Is there an overarching philosophy that your board has, or certainly senior management has, in terms of how you progress from year to year and what you actually show to the public?
Yeah, well, we do have an institutional strategic plan. So that certainly informs, all of the initiatives we have across all of our departments. There's also a tremendous amount of creativity amongst our staff and passion for this region. And, we're all very excited about telling, the different stories of the Adirondacks and offering a really holistic experience for our visitors, whether that's the hiking trails or curating a new exhibit or delicious food at the Lakeview Cafe. We're all really excited to play our part.
And you mentioned the hiking trails. Is there much interaction among those who hike the trails in the region, the proximity to the Adirondack Experience Museum, that they get to connect with you and vice versa?
So we actually have 2 hiking trails on our campus. They open in July. They're short hiking trails, so they're very accessible for most of our visitors. So people can actually come to the museum and hike, which is a pretty unique experience. But then, of course, we have Blue Mountain just basically across the street. from us. And we also have Castle Rock just down the road, which is one of my personal favorite hikes. There's a great payoff at the top. So we're definitely able to interact with hikers nearby.
On the radio program we had earlier this weekend, you really expanded on just what the programs are you run off season. The Zoom oriented programs that the public can access. They're fascinating ideas and really speak to the educational element of your organization. You just give us another snippet on the programs you have coming up and how people can access them.
We do a number of Zoom programs during our off season, so you can connect with us from the comfort of your home or wherever you might be. So through May, we are offering a Zoom program on the first Monday of each month in partnership with NCPR, called In the Adirondack Library. And Mitch Tyke of NCPR, he interviews authors who are based all throughout the region. And then we also are partnering with Albany Public Library through April for an Adirondack True Crime Zoom series. So our next Zoom program will be on April 9th. And Gem Radio Theater will be presenting a live stream production of 3 real Adirondack crime stories told in the voices of the criminals themselves.
How do people get more information on your website, or then can they be put on a mailing list or something for notices of these programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say if you're interested in our programs, a great way to stay in tune with what we've got going on is becoming a member, which you can do on our website. You can visit the80kx.org. We send out pretty regular emails to keep people informed of what we have going on. And then you can also visit the80kx.org and head over to the events tab, and that will show you what we've got coming up and provide registration links.
Perfect. And one thing people don't realize, and again, I'll use my out-of-town relatives, when we talk about going to Blue Mountain Lake or to the Adirondack Experience or Saranac Lake for that matter, they think it's such a great distance. But really, to get from Lake George, where we're centered, over to your place, isn't that far a drive? What's your proximity or mileage from your Adirondack Experience Museum to other well-known places in the Adirondacks like Lake George, Lake Placid, and so on?
From Lake George, it is about an hour and 10-minute drive. I did that commute for about a month. Wouldn't recommend it for every day, but if you're just looking to take a trip up, it's an absolutely beautiful drive that brings you right along the Hudson River and then up into Blue Mountain Lake. We are about an hour from Saranac Lake and about 45 minutes from Old Forge. Okay,
great. And I really would recommend that drive from Lake George to Blue Mountain Lake. It is spectacular. It just to ride along the Hudson River and its newness in up the North Country is really an awakening. Again, particularly for people who just think of the Hudson River as being this vast thing, down by New York City or even up in the Albany area. It's really a wilderness or river, and there's many stop-offs you can have along the way to just, have a sandwich or just enjoy the scenery or even walk along the shoreline there. So, Liz, what's coming up in the future, do you think? I mean, there is a master plan for 26, 27, and so forth in terms of how the Adirondack Experience will keep evolving?
Yes, there is. I don't know if I can give away all of our secrets, but, we're certainly thinking about, how the Adirondack Experience will continue to evolve. We've got some big milestones ahead of us. 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the United States. So thinking about how we can interact with that milestone in American history. And yeah, we've got a lot of fun things up our sleeve, certainly for the next several years.
Well, great. Well, we look forward to continuing to partner with you and the Adirondack Experience. Certainly the Adirondacks and history are not mutually exclusive, as you've just demonstrated. And I think there's a lot, particularly as we look at the 250th anniversary of the country, that we can do together. So you are having an open invitation, Liz, to return and not only to host Taps and Trivia, but also to bring your great programs down to Lake George whenever it's a good time for you to do so.
Well, thank you. We've loved collaborating with the Alliance, and I think you're right. There's ample opportunities to do it in the future. So, we'll see what comes down the road.
Super. Now, one more time, can you give the Adirondack Experience website for folks?
you can visit us at theadkx.org.
Wonderful. And we are the Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, lakegeorgebattlefield.org. We thank you, Liz Belyea. We look forward to the next time.
Thank you.
Lake George Battlefield Moments, a production of the Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, preserving our area's incredible history. For more on this topic, check out the Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance podcast, a weekly feature on Lake FM 93.5 FM and live streaming at lakefm.com. For more information, go to lakegeorgebattlefield.org and tune in every Saturday morning for Lake George Battlefield Moments.